Different types of force fields and their uses. Field research, variants, and skill tactics. The classic queef force field. As soon as you need to utilize this tactic, quick and queef loudly let the neighborhood know. Then swirl around in a circle so that the air carries the queef around you. This part is important. Don't fucking forget this step. Then you're going to walk in your queef and it's going to create like a magical field around you, except you can't see it 'cause it's air. If you need to test it and see if your queef is gone, then quickly lick, shut up, I know, lick the air around you. You will know when it's gone because you can taste the difference between normal air and your force field. When it starts to wane, you need to do it again to make sure that you're protected, okay? This gonna protect you from weird looks all the way to people trying to buy your toe gum. Operatives usually skip learning this step because they assume that they can't queef. It doesn't apply to them. Do not fall into this trap. Many operatives trained to use force fields have trained their cock to fucking fart. So this is one size fits all and there are no excuses to not utilize this tactic. So sometimes you will run out of queef charges. Usually people panic, but you shouldn't do that, especially since you still have some options left. Queefs are quite reliable so long as you are able to produce them or invoke them well. They are a short duration, give general coverage, and on average last for 3 minutes at a time. Professionals usually can test out cleanly around 15 minutes. Beginners usually struggle to maintain 1 to 3 charges. Well-trained personnel are able to report 15 charges. Talented and queef-ready personnel report having over 30 charges. The data we have on it is due to habits formed by each person. Fasting has proven to interfere with results. Talented personnel in rare overexertion cases report having urethral stretching and sagging. Safety measures have been taking place to ensure this won't continue. The next option you have is going to have different effects and you are not going to test the force field by licking, okay? Okay, you probably want sunglasses or at least like prescription glasses. Bonus if you wear a mask. For this you might have to struggle to get one out, but just squat down to the ground and move your middle side to side like a drill. Then once you feel the bubbles start to leave your asshole, you need to act quickly. Because if you don't, you will lose anal charges, okay? You want to jump straight the fuck up and it's going to shoot you straight into the air and you are going to land down and it's going to create a donut shape around you and it will fully enclose. So this is going to neutralize the air around you and make it less likely for people fucking around to include you in their plans. Depending on what you ate like 3 days prior, some special effects will show up, but you will have to document those on your own time. Some observed reports are noted below. Sergeant Badman, known well for having a well-rounded diet of raspberry locked-in loaded Red Bull with 2 packs of chain-smoking Marlboros, his effects triggered by movement in areas the eyes are not looking in. A blast is emitted in that direction every 30 seconds, followed by a fast Hershey squirt to the offender's throat. Lieutenant Dragdick, known well for eating rats breaded with dirt and tobacco fire roasted on occasion. His effects, triggered seemingly by random occurrence, hypothesized to be triggered when someone is thinking about fucking around and finding out every 3 minutes. Within a 20 feet radius, this effect can activate. Without sound, the field descends into a sharp shank in the direction of the perpetrator. As soon as they step forward into it, a portion of the field detaches and is left with the perpetrator. Most become very ill. Private Lovett caught eating chapstick in a pinch, but usually drinks boiled grass water. Don't ask. We don't. Her effects, triggered faster than eyes can perceive when the force field is touched. The air around the perpetrator becomes void and unbreathable for as long as Private was pursued. If you are regularly eating, you should not run out of these charges quickly. This force field is preferred, but the downside is that it is not always predictable or trackable. They produce longer duration of force field, 6 minutes on average, 10 minutes in professional cases than queefs, and there are typically 6 available. The data we have on it is due to habits formed by each person. Rations tend to give dull results and thinner clouds. Anal force field test, rules and research variants. I'm not gonna let you have your force field go unchecked, so here's how you do it. You don't want to lick this one, and that's because that sewage coming straight from your guts, so you don't want to drink that air. So if you got your mask and your glasses, then you don't really have to worry about 1, tasting it, or 2, having your eyes water. So you're going to plunge your hand outside the cloud, and depending on how thick your cloud is, it's gonna feel like you are passing through hot to cold temperature. It's harder to tell in humid weather, but if you memorize the sensation, then you can just tell. Typically your hand is going to be cold and the rest is warm, but if your arm passes through and it is thick, then it's possible to only feel your fingertips go cold, okay? This test is pretty foolproof, but there might be a margin of error not yet tested. The thicker your cloud, the harder it is to test, but I have never been let down by this test. Sergeant Badman reported to have a very thin testable radius. The test reveals the radius to stop when arm outstretched out at the elbow's length, but does have an ebbing behavior. Lieutenant Dragdick reported to reliably have a medium thickness, but only having the testable radius of forearm's length. The border has an erratic behavior. Private Lovett reported to have a thin to thick radius. The thinnest layer stops at the elbow, and the thickest part of its radius stops behind the wrist. The border is very sharp. Ration diet usually will produce an ebbing behavior and low thickness. The radius stops 3 inches away from the body, and because of that is not entirely reliable. Other force fields in research, not currently any reliable data. Shark clouds, sneezing clouds, coughing clouds, ejaculate clouds. This data is encrypted and prohibited access to unauthorized personnel. To report a suspected breach, contact your supervisor immediately.